Well, colleagues, welcome to this webinar summary of the Professional Exchange Network meeting for quality improvement, which took place on the 22nd of November, as organised by FE Sussex. And just a reminder that FE Sussex is a consortia operation of the 12 post-16 colleges in Sussex. And of course we have our colleagues who are associate members in Surrey. The purpose of the webinar is to record what went on, so the Knowledge Exchange meeting of the Quality Improvement Group, to make sure that we're all developing professional awareness of sector issues regarding Ofsted and inspections, to leave behind a reference source for colleagues who couldn't attend the meeting, and of course to work within the spirit of the PEN partnership arrangement. So on the agenda today is some feedback from Ofsted, who were in attendance at the meeting. A very brief update on maths and English. We'll talk about the new accountability measures and also have a chat about what people decided they wanted out of the next meeting, which takes place on the 7th of February. Well, we were fortunate enough to have in attendance Stuart Jackson, who's a senior HMI with responsibility for maths and English in vocational education. But we didn't call him in just for maths and English, or he didn't attend. He came to give us an overview of inspections throughout the term. And the following 3 slides I've taken from Stuart's notes, which he used at the session. So thank you to him for that. The first one on key emerging issues was the inspection of study programmes, which obviously encompasses English and maths. The challenge made to students to extend their knowledge and learning. The provision of work experience and its relationship to the course that students are studying, and whether that work experience is organised by the college and then integrated back into their teaching and used to produce examples of the curriculum in action. And finally, the progression and destination of students from their study programme. In terms of teaching and learning and assessment, the focus is on what goes on over a period of time rather than on the 45 minutes graded lesson observations which used to take place when somebody appeared in the classroom and then wrote up an inspection report. So also look out for themed learning walks when an inspector is looking for the use of IT or the implementation of safeguarding or prevent or equal opportunities, whatever it might be. And then in terms of the learner progress, how do you evaluate the progress of a learner in their studies during their course? So in other words, not using endpoint assessment, but how can you be sure that their progress is being made? And then finally we talked of the implementation of the prevent duty. It's more focused now on the impact of implementation rather than the provision of policies, documents which sit in a file gathering dust in the staff room. So carrying on with inspection, the key emerging issues, well, the move to 2 types of inspection with short inspections, providers have been very positive in welcoming short inspections. The attempt to cover the whole inspection framework is no longer made, so they're identifying and following specific lines of inquiry, and those lines are shared with the provider, so we as a college have the opportunity to put our maximum effort into making sure that we provide everything Ofsted require. The importance of capacity to improve is there. Is action being taken, and are the management and teaching staff able to assure the inspector that improvement will take place? And back to a self-assessment report now in terms of identification of weaknesses and a quality improvement plan to make sure those weaknesses are addressed. One thing which was brought home to us was the fact that safeguarding, which of course includes prevent, has the same priority on a short inspection as it does on a full inspection, so you can guarantee you're going to be asked about it. We did a short session, or had a short session, on area review. Now here in Sussex we've been through area review, but this related to colleagues explaining and talking of their experience with area review. and at what point would inspection of colleges take place if mergers resulted from area review. And I don't think there was no definitive date given. You know, 6 weeks after merger documents have been signed by the chairs, that's it. That didn't happen. But it will take place shortly after. There was more discussion on the changes to apprenticeships, what that meant, working with small firms and the use of the levy. And then we were talking about the professional performance measures, and I'll talk about the new accountability measures in just a moment. The point was made by the inspectorate that the importance of self-assessments hasn't gone away. The inspectorate have difficulty, like any of us, coping with a 3 centimetre thick document. So why would you want to produce one of those? Why wouldn't you just produce one which succinctly summarises strengths, weaknesses, provides the quality improvement plan that you will implement to address those weaknesses? And the very final point that was made was that we could all benefit from reading the Chief Inspector's, Her Majesty's Chief Inspector's annual report, which was about to be issued at the time of the meeting but has now been issued at the time of recording this webinar. And that provides some interesting comment on maths and English, the suitability of GCSE maths and English for vocational students, and also provides pointers for what might happen in the future. The next part of the meeting was devoted to the new 1619 accountability measures, and these were introduced by the Skills Funding Agency and the Education Funding Agency, it being the same body now. So if word hasn't reached you already, from 2016 it says, but I think it's actually 2017 or academic year 16-17, there'll be 5 new accountability measures to monitor the progress and achievement and so on of 16 to 19-year-olds on programme. To us actually in colleges this isn't so horrendous because we're already doing most of it. It is a big change for some of the other participants who provide post-16 education, e.g. schools, who've got no concept of this at all. So there's going to be an increased focus on progress and progression, and the standards which will come out will inform the minimum standard. And you can see from the slide on the screen there are 5 bullet points listed in bold. Progress, these are the headline measures. Progress, that is what progress do students make whilst they're in college from the start of their programme to the end. How well do students attain the qualification aim they're going for? In other words, what's the standard of learning? The English and Maths, well, if a student comes in with less than a grade C of GCSE, they're obliged to take English and Maths, and we know that, so there'll be a report on that. Retention, which is students completing their core aim. There was a good debate about students who may, for argument's sake, enrol on 2 A levels, drop out and only complete 1, and what does that do to the retention statistic of the college? And the answer was, we think it doesn't affect it, but we're not quite sure. And finally, regarding destinations, where do the students go? Do they go to further education, higher education, employment, non-related employment, or non-related to their study area? And what happens then? So that information will be tabulated and available for all of the public to see. So as a potential student of the college, you or your parents can plot out the various performance monitors and get an idea of how the college is performing, whether it's X% above or below the national average or the benchmark or whatever has been set as the reference point. So from 2016, or is that early 2017, minimum standards will change from attainment-based to progress-based, as we said. Value-added measures for academic and applied general. Applied general is a term for vocational qualifications. Then there's the completion and attainment measures for the technical certificates and technical levels. And both of these will show the progress students make compared to others taking the subject nationally. So there are national statistics available. Regarding maths and English, I've just mentioned it again, so it's not gone away at the moment, and performance in that is as critical as ever. So finally, colleagues requested another meeting, which is nice to know, and the next PEN meeting will take place on Tuesday the 7th of Feb in the morning at Plumpton College. We've had requests for 3 agenda items for knowledge exchange. The first is to get Pearson in to provide a QA update, especially regarding HE. NCFE, who are coming to update us on qualifications available. And finally, discussion about high needs students and what the colleges have to have ready prior to inspection. So I hope this has been useful. I look forward to seeing you at the next PEN meeting, and if you can't make it, there will be a summary webinar issued at sometime shortly after the meeting. So thank you very much for your time.